We are live. Welcome back for another episode of Dana White's Contender series with Couch and Dog. Still don't have the name down, and we're just about done. Last episode of the season. It's sad, but at least we finally have a relatively competitive card. First time that we don't have a minus 400 favorite. In fact, the biggest favorite is minus 155. So it's going to be a much different kind of card. No more blind dog shots. No more dog value bets. Now we got straight pick'ems essentially. So, Dog, how you feeling about this card, brother?
Some interesting fights, lines, competitively line fights. It'll be interesting to at least watch. You know, obviously from a betting perspective, everybody's going to have an opinion on everything because the lines are tight. But yeah, should be interesting. Don't have much to say, you know, about the card. I mean, I think you kind of spelled it out.
All right, sounds good. Let me throw up the Tapology over here. Shrink that a little bit. All right. Quick catch up with the chat. We got Evan McGrew over here. Thanks for tuning in, brother. Seems like he absolutely killed it last week. That's good. Good stuff, man.
Picking all the winners. Let's go.
This week will be harder. My guy, Tyler, thanks for tuning in, bro. I don't know if I can really boost your confidence with much, but make sure you guys are checking out Tyler's.
No more minus 700 favorites for everybody to parlay.
I mean, you know I wasn't doing that.
No, sir. No, sir.
Just this season, bro, I hit Vovetkin plus 700 and I hit Dubin plus 1,000. So, you know, I've been on the big dogs. Last week, I got saved because I played 3 big dogs. I played Masraf, who never had a chance. Camacho didn't seem like he had much of a chance. And then Tunas, who I think if Dulatov did not finish him, it looked like he was about to gas really, really badly, but woulda, coulda, shoulda. He killed on Tunas too. And I did cash Gauchi decision, so that saved my day. And we're profitable 7-2 events. Hoping to make it 8-2. And let's jump into it. All right. First fight of the night, Mohamed Otto versus Jonathan Micallef. Otto 5-0 undefeated, 24 years old, 5'11". Don't have his reach. On the other side, Micallef 6-1-0. He's 25, so he's 1 year older. Going to be 1 inch taller. Start us off, Dog. What you got?
I'll start off with Otto. I mean, I went through his career. He's a Canadian prospect. You know, he's been pretty hyped up for a while. I've actually been hearing about him. He's been fighting in Unified MMA. You know, overall, the Canadian MMA scene is it's just hard to get a read on because, you know, some of the guys he's fighting, you know, I think their records are some of these guys have good records, and then I watch them and I'm like, this guy doesn't look very impressive, to be honest with you. You know, he's had a lot of sketchy moments on his tape. But what I can say, you know, he's a pretty decent striker. He switches stance. He's got a kickboxing Muay Thai background. Decent athlete. Switches stances pretty well. Kind of hittable on the feet, to be honest, is my biggest concern. Doesn't seem to have the greatest defense. But he's scrappy. You know, he works up, you know, when he gets taken down. You know, will fight for your money. So, you know, I'm okay with him. I think he's decent. I think he just needs some seasoning though. You know, he's really young. I've seen him make a lot of mistakes. I've seen him, you know, get put in an arm bar in like 2 minutes by like a guy who's not even like a jiu-jitsu guy. He's just like a stocky wrestler dude from Afghanistan or Iran. And, you know, those dudes can wrestle, but, you know, getting put in an arm bar in like 2 minutes and him getting in bounce like a bunch of times on him is just like not a great look going against a guy like Micallef, who, in my opinion, has a pretty solid level of competition. You know, his loss to Alden Bates doesn't really bother me that much. I mean, I watched the fight. It was relatively competitive, back and forth, scrappy fight. And it answered a lot of questions, man. The dude's really tough. You know, he's really gritty. strong grappler, decent control on top. I will say, I wish his control was a little bit better. I think sometimes he opens up for ground and pound too much and gives guys too much space on top, which is my biggest concern here is if Otto can, get some space to get up and separate on the feet. I do think Otto is the better striker. I don't like Micallef's boxing, and I hate his defense as well. His defense is way worse. I don't think this guy knows how to slip a punch. Dude's kind of throwing him, and he just kind of shells up and runs away, and that's in every fight. His wins are pretty impressive, though. I mean, beating, Joseph Luciano is an impressive win, but that's a good stylistic matchup for him. He ends up just being the more physical grappler of the two, which is, pretty much how he got that one done. I can see him getting on top and smashing Otto in half guard pretty easily as Otto goes to digs that deep underhook and deep half and tries to get up. And he is more physical. So I do think the line is fine at 60%. I think with his hitability, though, I have some concerns. But, there are too many red flags that I've seen on Otto's tape. He's been rocked by guys that, don't look like lightweights. He's been taken down a bunch and put in really some bad positions that I've seen Micallef get to. So, overall with the level of comp, the physicality, and the grappling upside, I think that 60% on Micallef is fine. I am, going back and forth though, because I do feel like there could be value on Micallef even at 60%. So I'm gonna give this one last look, to be honest, before tomorrow. Finalize my thoughts. I do understand why Otto has some hype, especially because, being from Canada. But with what I see on tape, he definitely has potential. I think he's got a lot of potential, but I do think there's some things that he's got to clean up. I think he could probably move down to 55 if he wanted to and clean up his physique a little bit to make 55. And I think he'd probably be better suited there. But then, in the adverse, I don't know if he has the athleticism to hang with guys at 55. So it's weird for Otto. I don't know how he rates out at the UFC level, to be honest with you, but I think Micallef is a guy who could rate out as a physical grappler at 170 in the UFC level. So I do like him here in this matchup. I do think he's going to win. A good friend of mine or nemesis, however you want to call him, his name is Oil Check Bet MMA on Bet MMA Tips. Pierce, or Big Bird, as you might recognize him, destroyed the Micallef subline at plus 800 when I said something about it. If I catch him in Charlotte one of these days at a red light, I'm busting his window open. So he better watch out. But the line is the subline on Micallef. I like it, to be honest, at 450. I'm hoping it opens on domestics at a decent line, and I can actually bet more than $100. FanDuel, can you please let me bet more than $100 on a prop? I'm really sick of it. I can't bet a GTD for like more than $200.
Is that a personal limit, or is it across the board like that for Dana White's Contender Series?
I think they've been terrible on FanDuel. Like, we were talking about the overs in the GTD for the Gauchi fight last week. Dude, I could bet around fight time, I could bet like 250. It's ridiculous. Let me bet money. Like, don't even open up the line if you're not going to let people actually bet more than like $1,000. Like, what's the point, So F you, FanDuel.
Yeah, I don't get Contender Series on the domestic, so I genuinely don't know. But yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said, including breaking Pierce's window. I'm down for that. Pierce is the king hypocrite. When there's $100 limits and somebody slams the line before he gets to it, dude will crap on them, say, "Oh, you poors, smashing the $100 limit." The second my guy gets $250 openers, he destroys them, absolutely nukes them. Absolutely, just like
on these Contender Series props, yeah.
Classic Pierce. But in terms of the fight,
don't throw stones in a glass house.
Facts. But yeah, for me,
we on your ass, boy. We on your ass.
So for me, I like Micallef as well. I was not impressed with Otto whatsoever. I do think he's a better striker in that at least he's throwing like straight down the pipe. He's got a jab. He's got a 1-2. He's a cleaner striker than Micallef, who's kind of loopy with everything he throws. Like you said, kind of crappy at striking defense. I don't really take Otto as this guy who's like I don't see much power coming from him, so I don't really think he's going to be much of a threat there. And like he might be a cleaner striker, but it kind of comes off to me like pitter patter. Just doesn't seem super effective. And again, I also just don't think we're going to be on the feet much. I think we're going to get a grappling match. Otto, kickboxing background, sure, but he's been grappling mostly recently in his fights. Not really impressive. The Faisley guy was throwing him around like a sack of potatoes. Couldn't hold him down, so I'll give him credit there. But that wasn't the best look. And I'm just not crazy about him. I think that Micallef, the win over Luciano, is leagues ahead of anything Otto has. Luciano, I think, is a good fighter. I'm relatively high on him. I don't think he's going to be a champ or anything. Maybe, honestly, in PFL, who knows? But I do think Luciano's a very solid win. And compared to, like, Otto has nothing like that. Like, his competition has been awful, and he hasn't been very impressive. Decent grappling, decent trips, decent wrestling overall. Not super impressed with the ground game. He's got a nice back take, but I like Micallef's grappling a lot more. I think he's a lot more physical. I like his offensive wrestling more. I like his scrambling a lot. I think that if Otto does end up on top, I don't know that he's going to be able to hold Micallef down. I think Micallef can scramble out, get on top. I think if someone finishes, it's probably Micallef. So, yeah, I am on him. I got him at minus 135. I know the books opened him up at plus money, and Pierce, I'm pretty sure, got that plus 140 or whatever it was. But, yeah, I think the books just didn't tape it because of the paywall for Hex, and they just wiki capped it, made Otto a slight fave, whatever he was, minus 170. Luckily, I was able to watch all the fights. Shout out to, maybe he doesn't want me to say it out loud, but shout out to he knows who he is, who let me watch the fights on his account. And that's when, like, once I saw the Micallef fights I like even the Bates fight, I thought was relatively impressive. And like I said, the Luciano one is really what sold me because Luciano is a great grappler too, and Micallef out-grappled him completely. So not completely, but for the most part. So yeah, it's Micallef for me. I think the line now makes sense. Had I not played minus 135, I'd probably still play minus 155 to win one unit. But I kind of wish I went a little harder when it was minus 130, minus 135. We can move on though. Next up, we've got Leslie Hernandez versus Julieta Martinez. Hernandez 4-1-0. She's 26, going to be 5'3" with a 64.5-inch reach. On the other side, Martinez 7-0, undefeated. She's 20. She's 2 inches shorter, and she's going to be at a 3-inch reach disadvantage. I'll start us off here. I don't have a strong take whatsoever. I'm not crazy about. I mean, in terms of a fight, like in strawweight, it's a pretty good fight. Decent prospects. Just in terms of betting, I guess I'm not crazy about it. You look at Julieta, and there's not much tape, not a ton to work with. Whatever was available on MMA Fight Archive, that's what I use. That's what I got. You know, she seems like a decent grappler, mostly trips. So when I started taping Hernandez, I was kind of looking for that. I was like, all right, is she getting tripped? And indeed, I saw her get tripped a few times. So that makes me think Martinez could probably get on top. Martinez could probably get a decent amount of control time. Hernandez coming out of MMA Lab is bullish, as my guy Dogfather would say. But I could see her also.
We love financial terms, baby.
Hell yeah. But I could also see Hernandez kind of accepting bottom. So that's a concern. On the feet, I like Hernandez. I was relatively impressed with her striking. I like her output a lot. And I like her combos. She's always throwing combinations. She's not just throwing one shot. She goes to the body, which you really don't see at strawweight much at all. And I do favor her in the striking. I think if she can keep it on the feet, I favor Hernandez. I don't love Martinez's striking from the little tape I do have. She seems relatively hittable, and the volume isn't that great. So Hernandez striking for me. I do think Martinez will have some grappling upside, though. I lean towards the Hernandez side at plus money, but I don't really see myself making a bet here. How about you, dog?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like you said, it's it's weird.
I heard this too, what Tower's saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's happened to didn't Dubin have some fights on Samurai Fight House or something like that?
I think that happened with Dubin too, yeah.
Yeah, so same thing. I guess they're pulling them down so the opponent can't research them, which makes a lot of sense if you're their manager. I actually kind of respect it, to be honest with you. They whoever they are, probably Leslie's team would love to find all that fight tape, and they just can't.
Yeah.
So, we all probably are like, oh, why the hell did you take it down? But he gives it out to one person, and guess what? Everybody gets it. Now all of a sudden Hernandez can get an idea of what she likes to do, some tendencies and stuff. So I actually kind of respect it if you're her manager and you run the promotion. Don't let anybody see the tape to get a read on your fighter. So that's pretty smart. I'm not gonna lie. That seems like a pretty good idea. Thinking about it that way. So, from our perspective, I know what it seems like Martinez is good at. She seems like a pretty decent topside grappler. And I have seen Hernandez look pretty bad on body.
Did you kick yourself?
No, I'm just sitting here chilling. But you can see, Hernandez has like a taekwondo and boxing background. You're going to hear it brought up like a million times. You can see it in her boxing and her kicks. Pretty athletic. I really like her check hook. She hit Duran with a nasty check hook every single time. Duran would throw her 1-2 entry. She would just, pivot off and throw a nasty check hook, which, you don't really see like good, and not to be, dismissive, but like you don't really see women with like really good boxing fundamentals. And Hernandez has really good boxing fundamentals. She's young. Julieta's young too. Both girls are pretty aggressive, but I will say I wish Hernandez was a little bit more assertive. But it's hard to say because her level of comp is pretty high. I rate Jade Duran as a striker. She's got like a K1 kickboxing background. She's a very good kickboxer, also very young and athletic. That's in my opinion, like if you put that's like a pretty high level fight, Christina Brador, very physical, grappler. She's also very skilled. Even Christy Taekwondo, her first professional loss, it's her debut. But from what I've seen of her on bottom, it's sketchy. And I can't pay the price on Hernandez because, this Julieta chick, although she does look pretty small, I think that's something that kind of really stuck out to me at the weigh-ins, that she weighed in at 114, and she didn't look very sucked out either. And she was, visibly smaller than Hernandez. And that's my biggest concern for grapplers in WMMA is being at somewhat of a physicality disadvantage. So as much as I do see Julieta having a path and me being tempted on her because there are some unknowns, she might be really good. She looks like she has the skills to be a really solid fighter. And we've seen some of these, unknowns come out of Argentina and do pretty well in the UFC, especially these guys who are signed to Samurai Fight House. I just don't have enough info to play her at all and put my money and invest my money into it. So I'm going to pass on both sides. And I feel like there's something for me to play in this fight. However, save it for later unless somebody pays me. So that's about it.
All right. There we go. Let's move on. I guess the one other thing I did want to say with Julieta is at 20 years old, you guys have probably heard me say before, like it's good in that they're so young that they're going to improve fight to fight. But I also feel like 20-year-olds make really stupid decisions in and out of the cage. And I feel like she might make some mistakes.
Leslie's fight tape doesn't give her the highest IQ either. She's trying to head and arm Brader on top of her like 4 times. So not like I've seen high IQ from Leslie Hernandez either to make that sort of assumption.
Raw Torque saying, in my opinion, Hernandez tends to fade after the first, but I'm still picking her. Yeah, fair enough. Don't really have much info on Julieta's cardio. And I don't really think Hernandez fades that much.
I will say that Brader fight, she was coming off of breaking her hand, and it was her first fight back after a year. And if you look at the shape she was in between the Brader fight and now, she definitely looks like she's improved her physique a little bit.
Yeah. But all right, moving on. We're up to my main event of the evening, and you get to start it, dog. We got Yadier DelValle versus Antonio Monteiro. DelValle 7-0 undefeated. He's going to be 28, 5'9", don't have his reach. Monteiro 17, 4-1, 29. So he's 1 year older, going to be 2 inches shorter. Start us off, dog.
Yeah, it's a really interesting fight. I'm familiar with Yadier from Fury. I've actually tried to fade Yadier in Fury before with No, I think he might have tried to fade him with Aswell and with Pena Alamov. So, I'm familiar with the dude. Not to say that like I think he's bad or anything like that, but I just think he has some issues that, I just think he's kind of green in some areas that lead me to believe that, him as a favorite is kind of hard for me to get to. But I do think he does have some stylistic advantages here. He's a really good grappler when he gets on top. He has a fantastic back take. He's got a good front choke. He's pretty physical and strong. He's athletic. He's younger. He's only like 26 or 27. He's got a lot of potential. But I just think there's some issues with his game. He's a little hittable. His striking, he looks uncomfortable on the feet. And he doesn't like being pressured at all. He doesn't have the ability to fight off the back foot at all, in my opinion. Aswell, as soon as, Yadier was getting a little bit tired and Aswell was front footing him, he didn't really have an answer because he doesn't have great footwork. So I can see, this matchup really coming down to if Monteiro can, get off the front foot and avoid staying on bottom for too long, or at least using his jiu-jitsu. He has a path to outstrike DelValle. And I think, both guys' cardio is not fantastic. But I like the pace that Monteiro fights at. He seems like he gets off on the front foot good. He uses his range better. He gets off on a jab, gets volume off, and he pressures. And I think that's going to give Yadier some issues. So there are concerns for both guys because it could be one of these matchups where whoever gets on top first probably wins, because both guys have shown suspect bottom game. But at least I've seen this Monteiro dude hit a sub from bottom. And I've seen Yadier look lost when he gets put on his back. So I think both guys, I think that it just comes down to that for me. And Monteiro having a little bit more cardio and a little bit more what seems like a put together game, despite not having much of a process. He just kind of goes out there and just Pojadas his way through everything. But as long as he doesn't get stuck in his back too long, I think he'll be fine here. So just from him being the more put together fighter, I think he should have been 60, at least. 55% at the slightest. And I played plus 102, so I'm okay with that. That's about all I have on this fight. That's about all I see. I think if Yadier was plus 125, plus 130, I could make a case for him. It seemed like a dogger pass fight, but I leaned, Monteiro just feeling a little bit more put together and a little bit more. I would just say I think Yadier is tested, but when I've seen him tested, he seemed, if there was just some. I just felt like there were questionable optics, in more of his fights than I felt like with Monteiro. So yeah, I think he's there's plenty of, questionable things in the Monteiro fight with him getting pounded on in his Centurion fight until he hit an armbar. But I tried not to look too much into it because it was a tournament on the same night, up 2 weight classes. So I tried to take that with a grain of salt. Also, the dude he was fighting is pretty damn good too. So
talking about the middleweight fella?
Yeah, he's not a middleweight. He's fought at 55 before, but the dude's had one fight at 45 and a bazillion in years, and he was pretty big. So I tried not to take too much from it, but obviously you have to take him giving up his back, trying to get up, and looking kind of suspect on bottom, which Yadier could take advantage of. So it kind of ends up to who gets on top here, but I think Monteiro is the better wrestler, and I think his game is a little bit more put together. His striking, at least his calf kicks good, but Yadier southpaw. People are talking about the calf kicks, but Yadier southpaw. Will he throw an inside calf kick? I don't know, but I think he uses his jab better. I think he uses his range better. So it comes down to that for me. All this to being said, if Yadier gets him in he's got a nasty guillotine. It's pretty nasty. If he gets him in that, I wouldn't be surprised. If he shoots a sloppy shot, that would suck, but it's possible. So,
yeah, I was curious what DelValle sub was once you said that, but
yeah,
opened up 550, got slammed to 250.
I wonder.
That wasn't you, was it? Didn't you just say you played Monteiro?
No, I played Monteiro, but just for a unit, nothing big. I feel like he's the side here, but
yeah. So for me, I tend to agree with pretty much everything you said. I've been high on Yadier for a while. I've been talking about him for a minute now. When this season first started, I'm pretty sure in one of our first episodes, I actually was mentioning him because I don't think they had a week 10 yet or a week 9 or 8. So I was saying, I hope they get Yadier on. I hope they get him on. And then they give him a guy who I liked better once I taped it. I was watching Monteiro and I was like, I like this little dude. He's just like mini fridge of a man.
He's bigger than you. What are you talking about, little dude?
No, 5'7". I'm taller than him.
Dude, come on. He ain't no 5'7", dude.
Yeah, he is. Even if he's 5'9", I'm 5'10" on a good day with shoes. But anyways, the dude is just shredded to the gills, extremely physical. And you kind of mentioned it. It's weird with both guys because they're both good offensive grapplers, but they both seem uncomfortable defensively grappling. So that's where it gets kind of funky. And like you said, maybe it'll just come down to who gets the takedowns first. I can see that. On the feet, I like Monteiro. Not high on DelValle's striking, at least not yet. Southpaw stance, like you said, but his striking, first of all, the output's kind of low. Everything seemed a little bit wide to me that he was throwing, and I didn't like the striking defense much either. I think on the feet, I do favor Monteiro. I favor his striking overall. I just think he's a little bit of a cleaner striker. I like that he mixes targets. I think he does that more than Yadier. He'll go to the legs. He'll go to the body. Don't see a ton of body shots from Yadier. Monteiro, he is digging into the body. I think if someone gets a knockout, it's likely him. And then the grappling, like we said, I mean, Yadier could probably get takedowns. Monteiro's been taken down. I think he's a relatively decent scrambler, but he could get stuck, and he could give up his back trying to get up, and DelValle could take the back. We saw him do it in many fights. The Aswell fight sticks out. That's kind of how he neutralized Aswell, and I wouldn't be shocked if he was able to do that to Monteiro. But at the same time, I can see Monteiro taking him down. I can see Monteiro taking his back because he's also got a great back take. And like you mentioned, DelValle does seem a little bit uncomfortable off his back too. So I think it's a really good fight. I am surprised that the line flipped. I didn't think that would happen. And I thought that the books would have opened it much wider for Yadier because that seems to just be the theme this season is one side is somebody that people know. So they open it up like minus 300, minus 400. And the other side is just an unknown guy. But this time they were onto it. Barely plus money on Monteiro. And now the line's flipped. So I have 2 units on him at plus 125. Now, like if you're betting now, I don't know. I don't really know if I could sit here and tell you to lay chalk on Monteiro when I do feel like he could give up his back and DelValle could just take the back and win the round or maybe sub him. So I'd be careful laying chalk. If it goes back to plus money, I think Monteiro's a side for sure. But yeah, that's where I'm at. We can move on. Next up, we've got a great fight. We have Nick Piccininni making his return, but this time against Luis Gurule. Piccininni, 7-0 undefeated, 27 years old, 5'6" with a 66-inch reach. Gurule, 9-0 undefeated. He's 30, so he's 3 years older, 1 inch shorter, and he's going to be at a 1 inch reach disadvantage. I'll start us off here. So for me, so we got some stuff in the chat. Let's catch up with the chat real quick.
Yeah, chat. What's the chat got to say?
MMA Hokage, what's up, brother? Thanks for tuning in. Dogfather, does Charles Johnson by KO at plus 800 tempt you at all? What say you, dog?
What is CJ? What's the under in the ITD in that fight for CJ? What's the under there?
I can tell you. Let's see.
I mean, CJ's probably not getting finished by anybody, but
under 2.5 is plus 160. Fight ends ITD is plus 150. Johnson ITD is plus 210. Johnson KO plus 800. Johnson sub plus 340. I kind of thought we'd get a better sub line, but the bookies are on to us with this one.
Yeah, they know. I mean, CJ's ITD is probably not bad, but the under's probably good.
Yeah. All right. Raw Torque leaning Monteiro. I got to stop saying his name. Double Vision MMA 365. Thanks for tuning in. Yadier is a dog. I like the dude a lot. I'm high on him.
Oh, get him.
What happened to Duffy? I don't know.
He
Do you know?
got sick or hurt. Yeah.
Aussie asking if we're worried that Yadier will jump Gilly, then lose the round on his back. I don't think he's that stupid, but
Well, he might.
he might. Yeah, he might.
He also might pull Gilly and get it, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. He could also get it.
He could get it. He's a good Gilly.
Monteiro all around better. I tend to agree. Those traps are pulsating. I think he's talking about my traps, dog. Relax.
Yeah, he's not talking about your traps.
Yeah, he is, bro. I'm telling you.
Let me see.
But anyways, back to this fight as Dog shows off his traps to the chat. I like Nick here. At first, I thought the pick'em was accurate, so I was gonna pass, and then I thought about it some more, retaped it a little bit, and I decided to play Nick at -117 to win 1 unit. Way I see it, Gurule's pretty good, but first of all, he's on short notice. That's the first red flag. He's very short notice. I believe 1 week notice. Not that his cardio is bad by any means. He seems like he has pretty good cardio, but if Nick is grappling really heavy this fight, like I expect him to, I do think that Gurule will tire a little bit. And also, I'm pretty concerned with any fighter coming in out of Factory X now because that gym's done. I don't know the whole drama, so I can't really speak to it, but I do know that it's not a gym anymore, or at least not really. So I don't know where Gurule's really at. I couldn't tell from his Instagram. I don't know where his head's at. I don't know who's training him. So that's just another red flag for me. And, I think Gurule's a better striker. Not by a ton, but for me, Nick still seems a little bit uncomfortable standing. He's obviously like an A+ athlete, and he's extremely athletic, and the striking is developing and getting better. And I do think he hits harder than Gurule, but Gurule is going to have the output edge for sure. Gurule does seem a little bit more comfortable, throwing more output, more combinations, good forward pressure. He's probably going to put Nick on the back foot. I know a lot of people are saying Gurule is going to come out here and leg kick because Duffy did it. It's not really his game. I mean, he throws leg kicks, but he's not like a prolific leg kicker. So I don't know if that's going to be a huge thing here. And, Gurule's takedown defense seems very good. He hasn't really been tested by anybody of Nick's level, not even close, but he does have good takedown defense. He's got really good hips. When he does get taken down, he gets up very quickly. He's got his own wrestling credentials, not on the level of Nick, but he doesn't seem to ever use it. I had to go way back, like 4, 5, 6 fights to actually see him get his own takedowns. And I certainly don't think he's going to be taking Nick down. So, yeah, on the feet, I favor Gurule by a little bit, but I think Nick hits harder. I'll give him the power edge. And at the end of the day, I think now with a full camp, Nick's going to be able to grapple. I think that, he's not just a wrestler. His jiu-jitsu is actually getting pretty good. He uses it to control people. He can take the back nicely. I believe he took Duffy's back, I think, twice, if I'm not mistaken, which is a pretty good look. I think Duffy's a good grappler, obviously. So, yeah, I'm going to lean with Nick here. Now that I've kind of rethought about it, I think Nick, I'd be okay with Nick 60%. Not to play it, but, that would make sense to me as a line. But he's at Pick'em, and I think it's playable where it's at. So, it's Nick for me. How about you, dog?
Yeah, I mean, I just hate Gurule's margins, to be honest. So, to play him at -1, to play him at Pick'em, I'm not really super interested. So yeah, I just think Nick's obviously the worst striker in this matchup. And Gurriel's seems like more put together, more polished at this point of his career, seems a little bit more experienced too. Just kind of fights at a little bit more calm of a pace, I guess. Just seems less green than Nick. I think he's got some striking defense issues. I just think he has I just think he has some striking defense issues, and I think Gurule could exploit it. It's just I'm not sure what to think about this fight because Gurule takedown defense looks good, but I'm pretty sure that Piccininni could get anybody down. I mean, his entries are really good. They're really fast. He knows how to get to your back and suplex you, throw you down. He's strong. His last fight, he got a little bit tired, but he was on short notice. And, he showed that he could, scrap a little bit. I think Duffy is pretty damn underrated. We know him pretty well. He came out there and that was a really impressive performance. His striking looked great. the way he uses the range is something that Gurule doesn't do. Gurule doesn't use like front kicks or, stance switches and goes to a high kick. Throws like,
He's a pocket guy. Trades
yeah.
in the pocket.
So he kind of darts in and out of range and throws combos, and that's fine and all, but it's just a different style than Duffy's going to give him, who's much longer and taller and uses range, in my opinion, that like just as probably he has more range and he uses it, unlike Gurule does or has. So I just ends up being like a competitive fight to me at the end of the day. I can't really play Nick at this price because I still think he has some issues, and I'm not really a big Gurule guy, to be honest. He fights close with everybody unless he's just like kind of a level above you, and physicality and pressure and all of that. But unless he's breaking Nick, which would surprise me, I don't really see any guy looking like a big favorite here or having much of an edge in this fight. There was something I did like, but everybody caught on at $250 limits. So woe is me. My life will go on.
Yeah, I have no idea what you liked and couldn't play because of limits, but I like Fight Goes even at minus 140, and it's getting bet as we speak. But
yeah, that and the over got destroyed. So
I'm still okay with minus 140. I'm gonna wait till the limits open up. But
the over was good. The over being minus 180 is good. I think it's fine, but like playing a chalked up over in a Contender Series fight at minus 180 is kind of annoying. But at the end of the day, like two really tough bantamweights, kind of seems like it probably should.
what does a finish look like?
That's what I'm saying. Like if this over's true line after the fight could probably be like minus 250, would you be surprised?
No, I think that's what it might end up. I personally thought they would make the over much chalkier, especially after the last time with Nick. Because I don't really see who's going to finish. Like, I don't know if people are imagining, because the way I'm hearing people talk about Gurule, you would think he's like Chris Gutierrez with the leg kicks or something. Like, he's going to come out here and just chop his legs off, and Nick's not going to be able to wrestle and do anything, and then Luis is going to win. Yeah, I don't really see that.
That's in like a perfect world. But what about,
yeah, I don't really see it.
Gurule, of course, that's what you'd like miraculously assume he does to perfection.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
I think people just saw Duffy do it and just kind of assumed that Gurule could do it too, which he maybe can, but it's just not really his, like something he's coming out here and doing all the time.
Yeah,
but
it's not that hard to learn how to check a leg kick.
Yeah. I think if anyone knocks anyone out, I feel like it'll be Nick. I just think he hits harder, but I don't really think he knocks out Luis either, who seems very durable to me. And then I don't think I think Nick maybe could get a sub, a rear naked, I guess, but I don't really think so either. So for me, it seems like decision. Worth it saying Gurule decision plus 300. Yeah, if you like that side, I don't hate that at all. Maybe if you have DraftKings, maybe round 3 decision Gurule could be interesting too.
Yeah, I mean, at the line, I mean, I feel like I feel like Gurule decision's pretty wide, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems pretty solid if you're on that side.
Yeah.
Imagine Gurule gets this done. I mean, I don't have to imagine it.
I can see it.
Yeah, it's a close fight. It's definitely a close fight, and I think Nick, like I said, like 60% makes sense to me. But I would not be shocked at all if Gurule won. I mean,
I personally just is like, I don't know. I don't know.
Aussie making a decent point. It's supposed to be a rematch, so Nick was probably working on the check-in leg kicks.
Well, yeah, I mean, normally if you get your leg, even if you wasn't facing Duffy, if you get your leg kicked 40 times, normally you'd go in the gym and be like, you know what I want to do today? You know what I want to do today? Russ, I want to just learn how to throw a jab. You're going to be like, no, I'm going to work on defending a leg kick because I got kicked 40 times in my leg. It didn't matter if it was a rematch or not. Shit. I mean, he's going to go in there and work on his deficiencies.
Yeah. I guess my only concern, not only, but like one concern I just thought of with Nick is like, he won. He didn't get the contract. Is he going to fight like a moron? Because that would suck. If he comes out here and just lets it all rip in the first round, then he could gas, and then Gurule could really take over. I don't think he will. I don't think he's going to do anything dumb, but that's a concern I always have with guys coming back after a win.
I don't know. He seems like a pretty decently smart guy. Doesn't seem like
Yeah. But all right, now we have this fight.
Wait, look at the topology. Look at the topology.
Oh God.
What's the topology pick?
That's crazy.
They didn't watch a lick of anything.
I mean, I'm telling you guys, topology picks are fraudulent as hell. I won't say nobody, but the majority of people on topology are waiting until everybody else has made their pick. They're coming on, seeing who the majority pick is, and just doing that. I'm telling you, it's pick farming. But anyways, we got Nick Klein versus Heraldo Souza. Klein 5-1-0. He's 29, 6'1", do not have his reach. Souza 9-1-1. He's 29 as well. So they're the same age, just about 9 months older. And he's going to be 2 inches shorter, but he didn't look that much smaller at face-offs. Why don't you start us off, dog?
Do I have to?
Yeah, you do.
Souza's good for like 3.5 minutes, and then outside of that, I have no interest in him. He's dead to me. Yeah, that's about all I have to say. I mean, he's pretty good for like 3.5, 4 minutes, and I was like actually pleasantly, like I was so happy. I was like, this guy's minus 150 to Klein after I taped Klein. This is amazing. What a price. And then it was like round 2, and I'm like, oh no, this is not a gift.
I'm surprised you even thought that in the first few minutes, man, but carry on.
I like his game. I mean, I like his game. You got to remember, it's middleweight.
True.
Middleweight, right?
True.
We all were like, oh, this guy's ass, dude. And then it's like, think about, I mean, it's still middleweight. Like, it's still, once you get past, like, even 70, you know what I mean? Some of these guys at 70, like, they still, you don't think they're great, but then they could probably win fights in the UFC. Like, let's be real, 85, there's some winnable fights for, honestly, I don't think these guys could win a UFC fight. But I'll leave it at that.
Can they beat Jorge Medina?
Who's that?
Jose Medina.
He beat Jose Medina?
Could they?
Could they beat Jose Medina? Was that the barometer here?
Yeah. Because he's a UFC middleweight. I guess that's the thing.
That's stretching the term UFC middleweight.
Well, you said they couldn't get a UFC middleweight win, so I'm saying, can they beat Medina? Stop. Oh, no way. Did Frem get cut?
Yeah, Frem's cut.
Oh, wow. I guess it's not that surprising.
Yeah, it's not surprising at all.
But, all right, you done with your breakdown?
I mean, I guess I'll just say that Souza's probably better than Klein at fighting in general, but not for very long. I don't really like Klein at all, to be honest, either. I mean, he just seems like a non-athlete that learned how to do a body lock and some jiu-jitsu and beaten up on some cans on the regional scene. Because the one actual legitimate fighter he faced, he got pretty much dunked on entirely. So I don't really have interest in any guy here. I don't have any interest in the fight besides violence. The under's probably not bad, but Souza seems like he's pretty tough, and I feel like he could survive over 1.5. So I have, no interest. I do feel like Souza could probably kill this guy in like first round, no problem, to be honest. But he could probably bonk him in a round, I think. Probably the only way for me to actually have any interest to even stay anywhere near this fight. Like, I don't know. What is Souza's KO prop?
I can tell you. Let's see. So KO is plus 325.
What's his round 1?
Souza round 1 is plus 375. Not round 1 KO, just round 1.
Oh my God.
So last card of the season, dog. We don't have to deal with it no more.
I mean, that's not too bad, actually.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, just put. I guess round one over the KO, maybe, because
Yeah,
Souza could sub him, I think.
I know. It's like, well, what's his money line is minus 170, right?
Minus 155 now.
Oh, not bad. I mean, minus 155. I feel like I give him a decent bit of his win equity in round one, and it's less than 25%. Yeah, Klein sub probably not bad either late.
Yeah, so I'm sure the domestics will give you guys a great price, but Bet Online doesn't have round and method. It just has round, and Klein round 2 is plus 900. Klein round 3 is plus 1,000. Doesn't really get me going, but
Not terrible. What's his sub prop?
also not that good. I guess it's decent. Plus 575. But my thing is, so I'll break it down. I guess I'll start with the good, because that's one of the good things in my opinion. I feel like Souza's got pretty good jiu-jitsu defense. Like whenever he gets gillied, I like that the first thing he does is he goes perpendicular. You see him jump right up, body goes up, and as far as I understand, that's how you defend a guillotine. So good to see that. His own jiu-jitsu looks pretty good. He's very opportunistic. He's very fast. The arm bar that he got, I don't remember which fight, but that was nice. Competition level is questionable, though. And now going to the bad stuff, I mean, I guess his striking's definitely better than Klein's, just because Klein doesn't really have much striking. So I'll definitely give it to Souza, and he's good when he's up close in the pocket. You know, he's landing nice shots, I guess. But he's like stiff. He's flat-footed. The head kicks drive me crazy. Have you seen him actually land a head kick?
Who?
Souza. He throws them, but have you seen him actually land one?
No.
Bro, he like winds it up, throws the head kick, misses completely, spins around, and then does it again like 3 more times in the same fights. And I'm just watching this and I'm like, bro, just let's not head kick anymore. It was just one of those things that irrationally aggravated me. I think he's sloppy. I don't like his cardio. I think after the first round, he's going to struggle big time, especially if Klein is going to bring a grapple heavy pace. And I do think Klein is going to bring a grapple heavy pace. So that might be tough for Souza. And then on the Klein side, you know, his striking is pretty much non-existent. He doesn't really have much to offer standing. It's okay. He's very green, so maybe it's still developing. Maybe it'll get better. But he's clearly a grappler. Honestly, I thought him out grappling Huck Body for 3 rounds was pretty impressive. I know we're not super high on Huck Body, but if people don't know, this is a throwback. He won in the Contender Series, round 1 sub, gets the contract, tells Dana, you know what? I don't think I'm ready. I'm going to go develop more, and then starts losing. And then now he's probably never going to make it to the UFC. And that's just one of the biggest fumbles I've ever seen.
Damn, you get the meme and then get memed.
Crazy, bro.
You get the meme and then become the meme.
He literally became a meme, unfortunately. I think Huck Body's pretty decent too. So, but yeah, so I thought that win for Klein was pretty impressive. I mean, it showed me 2 things at least. It showed me, A, he does have cardio, which was a question after that fight he lost, because there he kind of fell apart. And then he comes into the Huck Body fight, and he does have cardio, and he can grapple for 3 rounds, and the grappling does look good. The takedowns are nice.
He didn't have much resistance.
From Huck, yeah, he didn't, which is surprising because Huck's also a good grappler. But out-grappled Huck, then got out-grappled the fight before that and kind of cardio gassed, so that's also a concern with him. Yeah, I really don't know what to do with this fight. I think I probably would have been tempted early on Klein because I saw that he opened up some crazy line, like, I don't know, plus 200 probably would have been a relatively easy click on Klein for me, just because I do think he'll have the grappling edge. Dog's shaking his head aggressivly.
There's no way I could click either of these guys.
I think I would have been able to click Klein at plus 200. At this line, I don't think so.
Yeah, just because he will grapple and seems like he has decent cardio, so he could probably just grind on this dude. But
yeah, I mean, it feels square, but realistically to me, it seems like either Souza knocks him out in the first round and a half, or Klein finishes him late or wins a decision. Which one is more likely? I honestly, I can't tell you.
What's the fight doesn't go?
Fight doesn't go is getting slammed. An hour ago it was minus 180. Now it's minus 215. It's probably going to be minus 300 by tomorrow by the fights.
Yeah, the somebody. I mean, it's fine. Somebody just bet $250 on it. They'll
Yeah.
get they'll get a nice $250 profit.
I'm not even that crazy about it, you know? I mean, I totally understand it because
it could be like a tilting under, tilting doesn't go.
because Souza's front loaded, sure, but that's also an issue. Like, okay, so say Souza comes out hot, doesn't get the early finish. Klein, I don't know if Klein's going to sub him really, because I actually do like Souza's jiu-jitsu defense. I don't know if Klein's going to sub him. And then is Souza going to be too tired to get a late finish? So if you don't hit in the under 1.5, I don't know if you're going to necessarily hit. Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable betting fight ITD at minus 215 personally. Not with the grappler and Klein and not knowing that Souza can gas.
70% like seems all right. Maybe minus 250 for the fight doesn't go. You know, I don't think Klein's like some hellacious finisher.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing, because I expect him to grapple and I do think he'll have success. That's why I'm kind of like iffy about it.
Yeah, you could just lay on him.
Yeah, I wouldn't parlay it or anything like that. I don't think it's worth it. But that's my own opinion. Like, if you put a gun to my head right now and said, Mike, play something, I guess Souza.
Does it have to win? Does it have to win?
No.
That's the question.
But you got to bet something. I don't even know. I guess it would be either Souza round 1, but I hate round 1 props, or like I was kind of curious about Klein decision, but plus 400 doesn't really get me excited either.
That's honestly not bad.
It's not bad because honestly, like I think Souza's done after 7.5 minutes. Like he's gotten later knockouts, so I don't want to like pretend like it's a wash if it goes that far. Like Souza could probably still get him out of there. Klein's striking defense is not good, and his striking isn't good. But I just feel like Souza really slows down hard. I don't know. I'm going to look at this fight a bit more. I had to rush to tape this one because I had a show right before this that I hopped on as a guest for. But I'm going to look at it a little bit more. I highly, highly doubt that I'm going to play anything. I think I'm going to sit with the bets I already have and call it a day. And we got plenty of regionals this week to break down, so I want to get on that.
I'm probably going to look into this fight one more time.
This one, yeah, I want to look at it a little bit better, but
no, because it's one of those.
What do you think of this? I think it's plus 100 is what I saw.
Klein 3.5 kilos, like it captures almost all of Souza's.
I guess he's trying to say that he doesn't see Souza winning 30-27.
Oh, right. Okay. That was a weird way to say that, but yes.
Yeah, no, I see what he means. It's minus 110.
Yeah, because of the cardio dynamic, you expect, Klein to probably win round 3, so Klein 3.5 makes sense, but he could also get finished.
That's the issue there, and then you're laying chalk on Klein.
What is it?
It's minus 110.
Yeah, that's gross. You're like fading Souza finish at even money. I mean, if you're fading, I guess it makes sense, but I feel like Klein probably getting finished feels like a coin flip to me too.
Yeah, this fight is really, for me, it's like kind of just bleh.
I feel like if I tape it, there's probably something there to like. There's got to be something here.
Yeah, I mean, low key after I finished taping, like I was leaning Klein, so I don't know. Maybe I'll resume my tape and be like, you know what, Klein is a bet at plus 125, but something tells me I'm probably not going to do that. Probably not. But all right, that's it, guys. That is Dana White's Contender Series Week 10. Not the best fights, but some good fights, and I'm looking forward. We can run. You want to run through our picks one more time, and then we'll hop on out of here. There's no more cards to preview. This is the last one. What do you got in the first fight?
Micallef by sub.
I got Micallef as well, and I do have a bet there. Hernandez, Martinez, what you got?
I'm not going to say, actually, because I have a lean and a bet to make.
All right. Dogfather is going to max bet Julieta by knockout. You heard it here first, folks. I'm going to pick Hernandez with very little.
Hernandez by decision, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to bet it, but I do lean Hernandez to win ever so slightly. DelValle, Monteiro, both on Monteiro.
Yeah, Monteiro by decision, probably.
Yeah, that might. What is that? I didn't even think to look at that. Plus 185. Just play the money line. Piccininni, Gurule. I'm on Nick. You're on Nick too, right? In terms of a pick.
Yeah, let's go Nick by decision. Like again, like clockwork.
There we go.
Didn't you? Let's talk about this. Didn't you play him by decision last time? And the
I
fight,
did.
like the same, like 20 cents difference.
I played him by decision. I think I got plus 145.
Wasn't it plus? What was the fight goes? Pick 'em.
I can tell you.
It was like pick 'em.
Let's see. How do you open up the odds for this? No. Can I see what the props were? No. Okay, no, I can't. Minus 400 was his money line. I don't remember what the total was. Definitely should have gone with just the straight fight goes. That's for sure. I mean,
I remember talking to you about that, and I'm like, wait a minute. It's pick 'em fight goes, and you played plus like less than plus 150 on his decision. I was like, what are you doing?
I was so convinced, and I got saved there. I definitely got saved. Gauchi decision, though. That was the play. Plus 175. Let's go.
We were there. That was, but that's what we were talking about before. It's like plus 175. Well, now it's like,
yeah, then it's kind of worth it. And that was a close fight too.
Yeah, it's like pick 'em fight goes like 50, whatever, 52, 53% versus like 30, whatever, 35%, something like that. About it's like, yeah, that's probably enough that if you feel like, that decision props most of his equity and he's the favorite, then makes sense.
I like this question. Favorite fight on this season, favorite fighter, and we could possibly do a season recap. That could be fun.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
Favorite fight. I'd have to go back and look at all of them.
Oh wow, let me think. It'd have to be a scrap though. It couldn't be like a fast finish.
Yeah. I mean, I think favorite fighter for me is probably Kavanaugh. For me, I think. Obviously, Finney's my GOAT. Malcolm's up there too.
Favorite fighter.
Pulling up every week. All right, let's see what we got.
Favorite fighter, Andre Pulayev. Let's go.
Not my favorite fighter, but
favorite fighter, Jordan Santos. Let's go.
Jose Delgado, I'm pretty high on.
Oh yeah, he's sick actually.
Let's see who we are. Oh, how about Gustafsson?
No.
Oh, Haddon is up there too. Obviously, just had an awesome performance this past weekend.
Shout out Cody Haddon for that.
Let's see. Favorite fight. Aswell Grod was pretty good.
That was a great fight.
Yeah, that might be up there for favorite fights. Let's see, what else do we have?
Oh, no. The Hassan Zada fight.
Oh my goodness.
The Hassan Zada fight was hilarious. That was definitely my favorite fight. Just
I'm weak.
Complete scenes. Just absolute scenes. The whole 15 minutes.
Oh, why am I even thinking? I know what my favorite fight was and my favorite fighter. My Ukrainian king.
Oh, yeah.
700 beast mode, baby. Let's go. Oh, I forgot about this guy. Sal killed. He's another one. Quillen.
I'm not as high on him.
I'm pretty high on him. Jordan Santos. I'm not. Sterling stands out too.
Sterling. We can't forget about him.
Oh, the Musasa fight was pretty good. Musasa Tanzalovi.
Who? Oh, Musasa.
Yeah, Musasa and the Georgian guy. That was a good fight.
Yeah, they're good. Oh, yeah. That wasn't that exciting, but yeah, it was high pace.
Let's see. Elijah Smith, Aaron Tao. I didn't watch that one live. Was that a good one?
That was a banger. Yeah, it was a banger fight. That actually is probably the best fight of the season. That, if not, that might be the best fight of the season. Pretty good fight.
Let's see. Oh, the Frunza fight was fun, but that was mostly because I was high on Frunza there. Oh my God! Remember when Vallejos killed Teague? Let's see what else we got. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think if I had to pick one favorite fighter from the season, it's probably Kavanaugh for me. Steele is up there too. I like Steele a lot.
Steele's got some holes, but he's good.
Yeah, Dulatov I think has a pretty high ceiling, but he's still so green. We're gonna get a good fade on him at one point, I think. Let's see what we got in the chat. Great show, fellas. Thank you, Aussie, for tuning in. Dog, you gotta stop skipping leg day, my brother. Patton and Kavanaugh were sick indeed. Kavanaugh's fighting our boy
Jose Ochoa
that we tried to fade once. Remember?
I learned about this. I learned about Jose, the Jose Ochoa verse.
I'm not even sure what's going on here with Pierce.
I heard the terrorist throw.
Pierce is spiraling. Mushroom, what's good, brother? Long time no see.
I got a lawyer with me, dog. So you don't even have a degree yet, G. So you better pipe down.
Big Bird doesn't even know how many strays he caught during this stream.
I think he was on it.
Let's see. Teague, definitely the biggest L you got. I mean, I wouldn't call it the biggest because I didn't have that much money on him.
Oh, but no, the plus 400 underdog loss.
It was definitely one of my worst bets, though. He got absolutely cooked.
I didn't even bet it.
we had poor Evan convinced.
Oh,
my bad, bro.
Sorry.
My bad.
That's why you don't. That's why if you bet something like that could die in immediately, you can't bet that big. He's too hittable.
Oh, good shot from Tower. Bashi also.
Yeah. What are we? I mean, to be honest though, I'm gonna be real. I'm not that high on Bashi. I'll be honest. Just not that impressed.
I'm pretty impressed with them. Kavanaugh, you mean Carpenter? I don't get it.
No.
Do they look the same? Is he making a joke or is he serious?
I think he might be confused.
Oh. Well, we're talking about Kavanaugh from the first episode of this season when he knocked out who's that guy? He's also very good. Antoine Ho. That bet can't be as bad as my Will Curry, Igor Cavalcanti. Oh no. Oh no.
I remember that.
That card was goated for me because I hit DeJordan there. I hit the Korean fella in the main. And is that the card that Dubin won too?
Yeah.
And I hit Dubin there.
Dude, I played the Dubin over. That made me so.
Oh my God. So did I. I broke even on that fight after betting a plus 1,000. How does that happen?
Bro, it's because the over was minus 120 or minus 140 for an over 1.5 in a women's strawweight fight. Like, what are we doing?
Well, now we know why.
Oh, stop it.
But all right, guys, let's get out of here. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Thanks for sticking with us this whole season. We appreciate it. Me and Dog will talk. Maybe we will do a recap next week. That sounds like a fun idea. Dog, you got anything you want to shout before we head out?
No. Let me think. I have one bet. I'm looking at one more.
Where do you give out your plays for people? Do you do that?
No.
Okay.
But I can't say it, so sorry. Send me a DM if you want to talk about it, but I'm not going to tell you until after I bet it and the line's going to move a bunch. So yeah, that's a shame. So yeah, I have one more bet I'm looking at. I'm
going to miss the comments flaming you for not telling your bets.
Why would I tell them my bet when I can't bet? I can't even bet it. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
What type of world do we live in? You know what I'm saying? I'm not. You don't pay me. Don't pay me $1. Shit. Fact. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, I have one more bet I'm looking at. Actually, two. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We have PFL, LFA, a couple other ones. I'll be in the Big Brain Discord. I'll be in my Discord with a couple people talking about fights. Yeah. It's
Dog is no longer in my Discord. He got bullied out of there.
Yeah.
Couldn't handle it.
Too many squares. But it's Fabian Edwards. Fabian Edwards gonna crip walk on Johnny Eblen this weekend.
That line's kind of nuts.
Trust me, we be on it. We be on that all the way. I already bet it.
You're there?
I've been there.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at that card too much yet.
We're gonna take a stroll around the block with Fabian Edwards at plus
300. I'm assuming you're one of the ones who hit 400.
I got some 440 on FanDuel, still there. I got some 455 on DraftKings because I was able to parlay a bunch of canceled fights. Screw you, DraftKings, for limiting me. And I have some 400. I got some 400 on Caesars. So
nice.
I think I probably have like an average price of like, I guess 430 or something like that. So not bad. I mean, I think ridiculous, but yeah, it's a good price. But
even plus 300 seems solid to me. I still have to tape that. I'm excited to tape McKee Hughes. I
gotta do that too.
I did bet Brano already at plus 475. I just think that's a silly line.
You worried about top time or what with it? That's a big thing.
I mean, of course, but he's plus 475, not like a tight line. Am I worried that he can get grappled? Absolutely. But I also think his takedown defense is kind of underrated. I think that once he gets more tired, he's much easier to take down. But like, at least initially, I like his takedown defense a lot. I like his striking a lot. I think he's a better striker than Stotts, and I like his power. I think he can knock Stotts out too. So plus 475. I took a half unit shot, nothing crazy. I'm always down to fade Netta, but I don't remember Ahmed Sami very well. Should I know him?
He's a grappler. He fought Yusri Bulgari and
I see.
But he was up at like, I think they were up a weight class. He looked really fat. Sami's not bad though.
Who's Nacho Campos?
The GOAT.
He's 5-0.
I know. He's the next Ilya. He's coming to.
Okay. But all right, that's enough. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Peace out. Good luck tomorrow. Dude, watch the video. You're literally here. You're literally on a Dana White's Contender Series video. I think we've set our pick on that fight like 3 times. So
what's our pick? Yeah, Julieta. That's on Julieta Martinez.
Just watch the video, Crypto.
We bet. I have a bet on Monteiro, so I think he's gonna win.
Yeah, we are both on Monteiro. There you go. One more time. All right, guys. Peace out. Good luck. Have a good one.